tonight we're going to break format here for a little bit here, and we're going to talk about something that affects everyone. It might, it affects people. Don't even see it. It's an injury that is not even on the surface. I'm talking about depression. Yes. Yeah, the D word. We never want to talk about it or express our feelings to people, but it's an important subject that needs to be addressed. And how we deal with it, how we project energy to other folks. Somebody around you might be suffering from severe depression. They're just struggling, and there's a voice inside of them that's saying, help me. And you wouldn't even know just by looking at them, because you can't see their injuries. You can't, unless they say something to you, you won't know. How are you supposed to know if what they're going through? But I just want to just address the issue. Chances are you know somebody's suffering from it, and I just want to kind of change our mentality. Kind of live in a world and a nation really that designs, builds, and creates stress for ourselves in just the architecture alone. I feel like in America here especially, we design just for negative space, non-use of space, and it generates the energy levels go to a stressful point. Whereas in other places, in other countries, their cities and towns and architecture, they're visually pleasing, they're designed for non-use or a second use other than business or conducting official tasks. And so I think we could take a lot of pointers from some other places in the world that offer culture, and leisure is built into the culture. So, I'm just addressing this. There's large amounts of people that deal with this thing all the time, every day. Depression is a real injury and occurs to a lot of people. And my main focus here, I don't want anybody to misdirect what I'm saying. I'm saying let's cure this depression without having man-made substances or substances harvested. We can do this by changing the energy that surrounds us, by in the simple architecture, even your own attitude. You can positively affect people around you with just your mentality, with your energy levels. Chances are you're a person, you're in your world, you're a mover, you're a shaker. You can influence the energy that surrounds you, and you can almost elicit a prescribed response with the energy levels and mentality you're using in a positive direction. It's just as easy to smile as it is to frown. I think it might even be easier to smile. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. I think the science will back that up, and I encourage it. I'm not saying walk around slap happy like Joker with a smile on your face all the time. No. I'm just saying, use that energy out there, especially if you notice someone that's obviously in distress. You can see the weight of the world on their shoulders just by the way they're carrying themselves and the way their micro expressions are. You're smart. You can look at somebody's face and tell when they're not feeling too good. Why not go out of your way? Push the envelope a little bit. Try to use some of that positive energy on someone. And you, I think, will be surprised at the result that you'll get. It's like a ripple effect. You'll notice day to day in your area, the places you go frequently. Use it. I'm not saying overuse it. You know when to use it. Use your right judgment when it comes to that. But, use your energy to do positive things. Maybe we can, help the person with the depression a little bit and be like, maybe this area isn't such a bad place. And if I think we all get in on the idea, flip the script, change the mentality, don't go after the person that's, different. Embrace them, and I think that'll be a better place, and I'm not saying everybody's going to pick up on this idea, because they're going to fight it tooth and nail because they're so used to being in that, same mentality as, oh, hey, there's something different. Let's attack it. Let's build our buildings in a way we can just stress out about it. Let's design our traffic patterns to just elicit negative reactions. There's a way to build a city grid that it isn't gridlocked. It makes sense. It flows with how the people drive, and it's efficient, very efficient ways to build towns and cities that actually work, that do great jobs at promoting more positive energy, and that's kind of what I want to just go on about. I haven't been ranting. I just kind of want to give you a little pep talk here about depression, and it does exist, and a lot of people have it, and we can change maybe a little bit of their day, one person at a time, and just get the mentality of, hey, put yourself in their shoes, walk a mile in their shoes and change your mentality a little bit. Talking about depression, ways to deal with it. There's many ways to deal with it. I don't know. I think when I'm feeling down, I like to get out and do athletic things, get outside, absorb some of the oxygen, be out in the sun if it isn't too hot, and of course you're going to be out there, you're going to be safe. It's great ways to deal with the depression, or if you don't want to go outside, if you're one of those types of people that are kind of like, I kind of want to stay in, enjoy the AC. Hey, there's nothing wrong with grabbing a pen, a paper, write down your feeling, document why you're feeling this way, and then maybe come up with a plan, formulate an attack strategy to deal with, these negative things that enter into your life. What else? Painting, drawing, that sort of thing. Excellent way to kind of like get rid of or harness the energies you want to cultivate. It's not easy, and it ain't just easy as snapping your fingers. Some people might say, hey, just get happy. That's not the point of this conversation here, because you can't just simply get happy. For a lot of people, they can't. Some part of them is just locked into this mentality that I'm stuck, and really you're never stuck. You've got two legs, you've got two arms, you've got lungs, eyes, ears, and a nose and a mouth. And even if you didn't have any of those things, chances are you could get out of the place that you're in. It's just a mental block for lots of people. Some people suffer mental blocks when they're skateboarding. They'll come to a point where they're just like, I've reached a quote unquote plateau. Same thing in weightlifting. They've reached a plateau. They've gotten as far as they're going to go. But I think personally, it's not the plateau. It's not a physical plateau. It's a mental thing. And just like anything else, you could overcome it. You're a human being. You can be taught anything, including how to deal with negative energies that come your way. And you practice, and then it's like, any other skill. You can tell the negative energy comes. You can see it. You can almost feel it, predict it, and prepare for it. Mentally prepare. Be like, okay, yeah, it's coming my direction. It's about ready to hit. And you're smart. You can see it. You can learn the patterns. So learn to deal with it in a pattern, and develop a strategy. Develop a solid strategy that doesn't have to include anything man-made, any substances harvested, or likewise. You can use your brain pattern. The brain is the most powerful thing there is. It generates any type of chemical you need on its own. It just does it. Your body needs this. You got that runner's high. That's part of your body sending those needed stuff to where it needs to go. It's smart. And it does it all on its own. It doesn't, and when it's going to happen, because you're a long distance runner. You like riding bikes, long distances, and when it's coming. It's predictable. And train your mind to see when the negative, predictable stuff is coming. And I think together we can do this too. It does help if you have somebody that's like-minded as you. Chances are, if you're thinking in this mentality and somebody says, this is the way this guy's living, seems like he's got a pretty positive outlook on things, right? And they're going to try to pick your brain and figure out, hey, how's he dealing with this, or how's she dealing with this sort of situation? Because chances are they're dealing with the same thing. You're not alone there. You're absolutely not alone. And that's the number one thing. Remember, you're not alone. You're never alone. There's people that, they'll ask you how you're doing. Don't unload on the person, but be like, hey, if you need a little someone to lean on, chances are you have, even if you don't have somebody, if you're absolutely positively alone, you do have to go shopping. You do have to go into a public place, right? Break out of your shell. If somebody asks how you're doing today, the cashier, unload a little bit on them, don't have to bear the burden on your own. Just be like, blah, blah, blah. And chances are the person, if they're a human being, they're going to show compassion towards you. It's just a natural response, unless they're pure evil. And then obviously they're just, you can expect it. You'll look at them and be like, oh, okay, well, you can recognize that. Train your mind and eyes and body to sense the negativeness and just prepare. And then if the negativity kind of like bounces off of you or goes around you and you don't absorb it, you're better off for it. And you do it in practice. It's like any other sport or any other thing you want to gain knowledge on. Practice every day. Reject the negative energies and embrace those who are doing the positive stuff. Make sure when you see somebody do something positive, break your stance. Go out of your way to go back to that person and say, hey, I saw you do that. I witnessed you as you do it. It might freak them out a little bit. You did everything you could to give that person the positive energy they needed right then and there, because you don't know when they're going to see it again. You don't know when that person is going to see a bit of positive energy. So at least you've done something. I'm not saying do it every single time. I'm not saying that. When the little voice inside of you says, hey, I just witnessed that, of course, do that. I'm not saying going around like, Gomer Pyle, hey, that's a good job, blah, 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 blah. No, that's not it. You'll know when you need to do it, and just do it. Don't ignore that little voice inside of you that says, go tell that person good job for what they did. They deserve it. They need it. You need it. And chances are, if you're changing the mentality around you, somebody else is going to see you do something righteous and witness you. And then that'll feel good. It'll feel great, because then it's become full circle, because you witnessed something that you initiated in your life happen to you. And how good will that feel? That'll feel just terrific, wouldn't it? Feels fantastic to try to positively affect your environment. And if we could get more people on this wavelength, we could all positively affect the area that you're in. And then one area at a time, we could affect, maybe the state of California, or bleed on over into Nevada or some other places. And then eventually it'll catch on, and people will begin to realize that, they're not alone here. People suffer. And I think that in general, the average human wants the other human to do well. All right. That's enough of me ranting and talking about depression. I'm going to turn you back to your regularly scheduled programming. If you think anybody else would get enjoyment out of this little talk, go ahead and like, share, subscribe. And now back to the show.